Listen up, folks. Let's clear the air and get the elephant out of the room before we even unbox a single pistol today. We've all heard the old range lore. When in doubt, just buy a Glock. And hey, I am absolutely not here to bash that mentality. The Glock 19 is the Toyota Camry of the concealed carry world. It is going to fire every single time you press that trigger. It gets the job done under pressure, and it is boringly, predictably reliable. But let's be brutally honest for a second. It is not 2005 anymore. The firearms industry is currently living in the absolute golden age of polymer-framed perfection. The engineering and manufacturing we are seeing right now is simply mind-blowing. We are talking factory-ported barrels, modular, serialized chassis systems, direct-mount optics solutions that do not require you to have a master's degree in mechanical engineering just to mount a red dot. These modern combat platforms are tracking incredibly flat. They are running much faster out of the holster, and they are packing features straight from the factory that make your trusty old Gen 3 feel like a museum piece. Now, if you run a bone-stock Glock and you trust your life to it, keep carrying it and stay dangerous. But if you are curious about what happens when firearm engineers actually innovate instead of coasting on a legacy, you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we are diving deep into the defensive handguns that are legitimately making the Austrian polymer giant sweat bullets. Before we hit the firing line, if you are a red-blooded American who supports the Second Amendment and wants no-nonsense range-tested reviews, do me a solid. Rack the slide on that like button and subscribe to the channel. Alright, ears on. Let's get to work. Number 10. The Springfield Echelon 4.0. Listen. Springfield didn't just build another generic striker-fired clone here. They took a massive swing at the heavyweight title, and it absolutely connected. The Echelon 4.0 feels like a massive leap forward in defensive handgun evolution. It has an incredibly sleek profile, it is highly modular, and it shoots like an absolute laser beam on steel targets. The real voodoo magic inside this gun is what they call the Central Operating Group, or COG. Think of it kind of like the fire control unit inside the SIG P320, but I honestly believe Springfield refined the concept even further. It is a fully serialized stainless steel chassis. That means the internal trigger pack is the actual legal firearm. You can strip it out and swap grip modules in a matter of seconds on the workbench. You want to carry deep concealment in the summer? Toss it in a micro frame. You want to run a tactical course on the weekend? Snap it right into a full-size duty grip. This particular setup runs a 4-inch hammer-forged barrel. The ergonomics on the full-size grip are locked in. It simply melts into your hand. It feeds from a flush-fit 17-round magazine, but throw in that factory extension and you are rolling with 20 rounds of 9mm on tap. But let me tell you about the real MVP of this system, the variable interface system for your optics. We can finally say goodbye to losing zero because of cheap, bent adapter plates. Springfield engineered a brilliant pin system cut directly into the slide. You can direct mount over 30 different red dot sights straight to the steel. That gives you a drastically lower deck height and a much cleaner co-witness with your factory iron sights. Add in those aggressive trench serrations on the slide and a recoil impulse that is incredibly soft. Springfield absolutely knocked this out of the park. Number 9. The Walther PDP Compact Steel Frame. If you are the kind of shooter who believes that weight equals quality, prepare to fall in love. Walther took their already legendary PDP platform and entirely ditched the plastic. They machined this beast out of solid steel. This is the PDP Compact Steel Frame, and I am telling you, it is built like a main battle tank. You are getting a 4-inch match-grade barrel and a standard 15+1 capacity. But the real headline here is the sheer mass of the gun. This absolute unit tips the scales at around 38 ounces completely empty. Now, I hear you asking, why on earth would I want a heavy compact pistol for daily carry? Simple. Physics. All that extra steel mass acts like a giant sponge for recoil energy. When you press that trigger and send a 9mm downrange, the muzzle practically refuses to rise. It stays completely flat, and your red dot never leaves the window. And we cannot talk about Walther without talking about the trigger. In my professional opinion, Walther makes the absolute finest factory striker-fired trigger on the planet, bar none. The break is violently crisp, like snapping a frozen glass rod, and the reset is incredibly short and tactile. You can feel it in your bones. Combine that world-class trigger with Walther's legendary grip ergonomics. Running this gun on the timer honestly feels like you put in a cheat code. It comes optics ready from the factory. It ships with heavy-duty suppressor height sights right out of the box, and it is crafted with that surgical German engineering that demands respect. Look, it is not cheap, and carrying 38 ounces of steel all day requires a seriously sturdy gun belt. But the second you step onto the range, it is an absolute masterpiece of lead delivery. Number 8. The SIG Sauer P365X Macro. Just when the industry thought the micro-compact carry wars had settled down, SIG dropped an absolute tactical nuke. The P365X Macro completely bridges the gap between a deep concealment piece and a full-blown duty pistol. Glock simply does not manufacture anything that competes with this specific size-to-capacity ratio. You are looking at a 3.7-inch barrel, but the black magic happens entirely in the grip module. Somehow, the engineers at SIG managed to cram 17 rounds of 9mm into a frame that is barely wider than an old-school single stack. It honestly defies logic how efficient this magazine design is. A lot of these X-Macro models also roll out with an integrated compensator machined directly into the slide itself. That porting aggressively redirects the expanding gases upward. It actively fights muzzle flip and keeps your sights glued to the A-zone during rapid-fire strings. You get a phenomenal flat-face trigger. X-ray 3-day and night sights come standard, and the slide is optics cut to directly accept the Shield RMSC footprint without needing extra plates. The stippling on the grip is gritty enough to give you a rock-solid purchase with sweaty hands, but it is not so aggressive that it will chew up your stomach if you carry appendix position. If you are looking for full-size, duty-level capacity in a gun you can easily hide under a summer t-shirt, this is the undisputed king of the hill right now. Number 7. The Kimber R7 Mako Carbon Compact. I know exactly what you are thinking. Wait a minute. Kimber? The company famous for beautiful custom wood grip pistols is making a polymer striker-fired gun? You better believe it. And honestly, they completely crushed the execution. The R7 Mako Carbon Compact is a purpose-built, dedicated everyday carry piece, and it completely ignores their traditional 1911 heritage to focus on modern combat geometry. This entire platform is built around a carbon fiber-infused polymer frame. What does that mean for you? It means the frame is insanely rigid. It will not flex under recoil, it is highly durable, and it weighs next to nothing. It feeds from either an 11-round or a 13-round magazine. That gives you very respectable firepower for a gun this concealable. The ergonomics will genuinely surprise you. It features a fully enclosed ejection port design. This might look a little unorthodox, but it adds a massive amount of structural rigidity to the slide itself. Kimber actually ships this gun with TrueGlow Tritium Pro night sights already installed. That is a massive value upgrade right out of the hard case. The slide is pre-cut for the Shield RMSC footprint, so you can instantly drop a Hollow Sun or a Shield Red Dot right onto the slide. But the absolute shocker here is the trigger. It is a flat-faced performance shoe with a break so clean it easily rivals custom guns that cost twice as much. It features fully ambidextrous controls, aggressive stippling, and a profile that doesn't look like every other blocky gun on the market. If you are tired of carrying the same boring black plastic as everyone else, you need to get your hands on the Mako. Number 6. The CZ P-09 Nocturne. Alright, listen up. For all my old-school hammer-fired purists out there, this one is entirely for you. The CZ P-09 Nocturne is the highly anticipated modernized evolution of their classic P-09 duty pistol. The original platform was fantastic, but the Nocturne finally fixes the single biggest complaint the tactical community had. It is finally, officially, optics-ready straight from the Czech Republic. This is a traditional double-action, single-action system. For those who don't know, that means your very first trigger pull is long and heavy. That heavy pull acts as a very deliberate mechanical safety layer when you are carrying inside the waistband. But once that hammer is back, every follow-up shot is a crisp, light, incredibly fast single-action break. It ships with a 19-round magazine, meaning you have a ton of onboard firepower. You can grab this in either a 4.5-inch full-size configuration or a slightly shorter compact model. CZ totally revamped the grip texture on this version. It is noticeably more aggressive, and it locks your shooting hand high up into that beaver tail. And because it is a CZ design, the slide actually rides inside the frame rails rather than outside. This dramatically lowers the bore axis relative to your grip, which means the recoil impulse goes straight back into your arm instead of flipping the muzzle up. It is brutally reliable. It is surgically accurate. And now that you can easily mount a red dot on it, it is a fully viable top-tier duty weapon for the modern era. Number 5. The Shadow Systems MR920. Okay, let's just address the elephant in the room right now. This gun is exactly what the Glock 19 dreams of being when it finally grows up. The Shadow Systems MR920 is built around that highly compatible, proven footprint. But literally every single component has been upgraded, tuned, and perfected by American shooters. Let's start with the frame. It features a totally unique, customizable backstrap system. Unlike other guns that just make the grip fatter, this system actually changes the physical grip angle of the firearm. So, if your brain naturally points a 1911 perfectly, you can swap the backstrap and set this polymer gun up to match that exact natural point of aim. The slide is an absolute work of art. It is machined with aggressive window cuts and incredibly sharp directional serrations for high-stress press checks. It packs a spiral-fluted match-grade barrel, usually finished in a gorgeous bronze or a slick black nitride. But the real game changer is their proprietary optic mounting system. Their cut allows you to direct mount almost any major brand of tactical red dot directly into the slide steel. No flimsy adapter plates required. It creates an absolutely bomb-proof mounting solution. You are getting a crisp, flat-face trigger, a perfectly engineered recoil control ledge specifically designed for your support hand thumb, and an aluminum magwell for lightning-fast reloads under stress. Shadow Systems basically took every single custom modification you were planning to pay a high-end gunsmith for, and they rolled it all into one factory gun for a fraction of the custom price tag. Number 4. The Heckler Koch VP9. You simply cannot have a serious conversation about modern combat pistols without paying respect to Heckler Koch. The VP9 is the premier striker-fired option for shooters who refuse to compromise on build quality. The ergonomics on this German-engineered pistol are, without a doubt, arguably the best in the entire world. It doesn't just come with standard backstraps. It features fully interchangeable side panels for the grip. You can completely custom mold the geometry of this grip to fit the exact contours of your specific hand size. And let's talk about the slide. They added these brilliant little charging supports, basically little wings on the rear of the slide. They make racking this gun incredibly easy and positive, even if your hands are covered in mud, sweat, or rain under extreme stress. The trigger is exactly what you expect from German engineering. Pure excellence. You get a very smooth initial take-up, followed by a remarkably crisp break. It ships out with either 15-round or 17-round magazines, depending on the model. And the newest generation is fully optics-ready out of the box. It shoots incredibly soft. It points as naturally as pointing your finger. And it carries that legendary Heckler & Koch reputation for absolute reliability in the worst conditions on Earth. This isn't just a handgun. It is a premium, life-saving tool built for the professional end user. Number 3. The Canik TP9 SFx. If you want to absolutely dominate at the range, but you are balling on a strict budget, stop your search right here. Canik has completely flipped the firearms market upside down with the TP9 SFx. This is a fully competition-ready, race-tuned handgun, and you can often pick it up for less cash than a bone-stock base-model Glock. And before you ask, no, it does not feel cheap in the hands. Not even a little bit. You are looking at a massive 5.2-inch match-grade barrel. That gives you a brilliantly long sight radius for precision irons and a serious boost in bullet velocity. It comes standard with massive 20-round magazines. The trigger on this gun is genuinely phenomenal. It breaks consistently at around 3.5 to 4 pounds, and the reset is so short it is practically instantaneous. The slide is beautifully cut for optics, and unlike some brands, Canik actually includes the mounting plates right there in the hard case. Heck, they even throw in a functional outside-the-waistband holster and a set of cleaning tools to get you started. Now, is a 5-inch gun a little big for inside-the-waistband concealed carry? Yeah, probably. But if you are setting up a dedicated home defense rig, or looking to absolutely crush a weekend pistol league match, this platform punches so far above its weight class, it is almost unfair. It runs flawlessly, it is stupidly accurate, and it is hands down the most insane value for your hard-earned dollar. Number 2. The FN-509 Tactical. This weapon system was born directly out of the grueling United States Army modular handgun system trials. The FN-509 Tactical is a proven warfighter's pistol, plain and simple. It rolls out of the factory ready to handle absolutely anything you can throw at it in the field. You get a cold, hammer-forged, threaded barrel right out of the gate, so it is immediately ready to host your favorite suppressor or a heavy-duty compensator. It ships wearing tall, suppressor-height night sights that will perfectly co-witness through the window of your optic. And the magazine capacity on this thing means serious business. You get a standard flush 17-round magazine. Plus, they throw in an extended 24-round stick mag right in the box. FN designed what they call the low-profile optics mounting system. It is incredibly robust, heavily patented, and it will adapt to fit just about any heavy-duty red dot you want to run. The grip texture is extremely aggressive. It feels almost like gripping medium-grit sandpaper, which is exactly what you want, keeping the gun anchored in your hand when things get wet, sweaty, or bloody in a defensive encounter. This pistol is built like an absolute tank, and it is reliable as hell under extreme conditions. If you are looking for a true go-to-war sidearm the moment you pop the latches on the case, this is the one. Number 1. The Staccato C2. Sitting high atop the mountain of modern carry guns, we have the Staccato C2. Look, to be totally honest with you, this comparison almost isn't fair. Putting a Staccato up against a standard polymer striker-fired gun is like drag racing a Ferrari against a family minivan. This is a true 2011 platform. That means you are getting the impossibly crisp, straight-sliding trigger pull of a custom 1911. But it is built around a double-stacked 9mm magazine format. It holds 16 rounds packed into a beautifully machined, compact aluminum frame. The recoil impulse on a Staccato is incredibly distinct. Because of the heavy reciprocating mass of the slide and the tuned hammer-fired system, this gun tracks unbelievably flat. I guarantee you can run this pistol faster and push it more accurately than just about anything else on this entire list. It is fully optics ready from the factory. It features a thick 3.9-inch stainless bull barrel, and the hand fit and finish are absolute perfection. Yes, I know, it is very expensive, but you are paying for top-tier American craftsmanship and truly elite professional-grade performance. Let me warn you right now, once you press the trigger on a Staccato, it is going to be incredibly hard to ever go back to a squishy polymer striker gun. It is the ultimate concealed carry flex, and it earns the undisputed number 1 spot on this list with absolute ease. Alright guys, that wraps up the list for today, but the conversation doesn't end here. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments section below. Are you sticking with your trusty old Glock? Or are you finally making the jump to one of these high-performance modern platforms? Let me know what you are currently running. If you got some solid value out of this video today, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button, hit subscribe so you do not miss our next upload, and ring that notification bell so you always know when we drop new content. Train hard, stay safe, carry every single day, and I will see you on the range.